traditional Counter-Strike map, right? It plays a lot like that, where you have kind of one mid area and then 2 ways to get onto either site, separating off from that mid, right? So control of mid is certainly important, but it's not like someplace like Split, right? Where if you control mid, you control the galaxy. Ascent, you can still get cut off on Catwalk or over in Market. So there's still a lot of utility that has to be invested after you get control of mid if you want to get to a site. It's not necessarily easy to play on the attack, especially considering just how strong operators are, right? And the fact that an op can hold down mid very effectively from the defense.
Yeah, you're absolutely right, Paul. And I think the post plans are really interesting as well on Ascent, because it takes a lot of utility to not only get onto the site or defend the sites too, but in that post plant situation, it's very rare where any engagements on this map at all are just from straight on gunfights, except for maybe mid, but even then you still have a lot of vision denial, some utility going down, but always there's at least going to be some Omen shadows going by inside mid. Speaking of Omen, we have an Omen on both sides this time around. Once again, we have not seen Brimstone at all, except for one different map so far. But it's mostly been just a game of Omens. But right away, we are seeing Valen taking down Scourge, and that is a great opening pick for the defending side. The B rushed well into effect. Valen not going to stop there, taking out Polaris as well. Showtime, though, puts an end to it. But that spike plant, while all that craziness was going down, snuck on by, and now the retake game, only meters away, is in full effect. The blinds come down, but the angles are being held well by these attackers, and my god, Serenity knows what they were doing up until the very end, but Complex there, able to sneak by with the double kill, getting the bomb defused down. That is exactly what you want to see for the opening of Ascent. So far, that was a pretty even round, all things considered, Paul.
Yeah, no, very quick, decisive push there from the attacking team from Serenity. They knew exactly what they wanted to do, how they wanted to do it. Recon Dart went out. They had smokes to go. They were ready to get onto the site, but they lost so many people getting there, right? The rotate's really timely from dGen Flow State on the defense. So good work from them, and that distraction that I believe it was 2 or 3 players going on that B site balcony while Complex just crept his way down the stairs. Cypher lurking even on a retake. You gotta love to see that.
I mean, Cypher is a very sleeper agent when it comes to versatility, and plays like that are just beautiful to see. But right away, we do see the huge rotate coming around on the B side. Once again, the attackers giving B for themselves. It's going to be a really interesting retake to see once again. It didn't seem like before Serenity was able to, dGen was able to bring it back, but they brought it back actually, in fact. Oh, taking down Easy as well. It's going to be an absolute bloodbath. Valen finds Heron as well, and so far, this is an exact retelling of round number 1. But this time around, it's going to be going in the favor of Serenity. This time around, 4K coming out from Showtime. Just able to hold down the angle super well and taking advantage of everyone from dGen Flow State just funneling into the same exact side without any divvying away or any way of, pinching him out.
And what interesting buys there in that round. The defenders really didn't buy up as much as you see a lot of defending teams do. They really only got ghosts and some armor, like 1 Ares and a couple Spectres. But meanwhile, after losing round 1, it was a full-blown investment from dGen, or from Serenity on the attack, rather. They were able to lock that down, and they rushed through. Mun, you cheeky little man right there with the sheriff through the wall.
And they're going for it again. Showtime taking out Valen, the top fragger for dGen's side. Again, taking over B site like it's nothing. Mun can get all the cheeky kills he wants, but it's not going to stop a Spectre to the face. Showtime finding his body. It's going to be that plan possibly going down. Yep, there we go, very soon. And again, the retake coming out from dGen once more. They have to find a way to rotate around. It's now or never again. Slows and walls this time going through highway. It's only going to be allowing the defenders to rotate from 1 potential angle. Now, it's going to be 2. They waited it out. Complex does take down Showtime. A 2v2 engagement going on. But through the back of Kraken, it's going to be in the favor of the attackers. Serenity taking B swiftly once again and holding it down for 2 rounds in a row is going to be them able to take this tie and bring it to their lead.
Serenity going to do this the whole time? Just rush on to A? with these executes? Because I would love to see that. They've done it 3 rounds in a row. Okay, now it finally seems like they're starting to split up, or are they just all going to the A site? I mean, their B site takes have been very clean, and although Mun has been an annoyance for Serenity with the Sova playing in the Sinatra spot right there, he hasn't really been able to stop what's been going on. And when it's just a Sova and Arena over on B site, there's not much to actually halt the attacking team, right? I mean, you can throw out a recon dart, you can throw out a leer, but those can be destroyed. And if Serenity don't want to stop, they don't have to. Now they're finally playing a bit slower. Owl Drone's going to go out through B. They are going to get control of B main. And I don't think they quite spotted that Reyna in market, but it'll get smoked off, I think, by the attacking team regardless.
It's going to be a
very creeping on the A too.
A very dangerous game for everybody on Serenity's team right now. Not a lot of bodies taking place on either site, but there's an even man count or even greater for both teams, or for the defenders on both sites. Now, the Jet could engage on through Valen. We'll see them at any moment. I think Valen is still not recognized inside of Marketplace. But the rotate in the B, once again, they played it slow, and they're probably going to explode onto the site once again, like what we're used to. But the mid-engagement, too, is going to throw Valen in for a surprise. The engagement goes down for the double kill. The surprise double kill coming down. Advice and Scourge make their way onto B, but Valen's still holding down Marketplace like it's nobody's business. A 3v3 with that spike going down once again. The retake game, 4 rounds in a row now, the same exact situation. It's going to be Heron, though, walling off a different part of the site. But working out now, only need to hold angles. You have to wait for the defenders to push on through. But there's a lot of visual denial. The Phoenix taking full advantage of his utility. It's going to be tough, though. Heron, though, not carrying it all, gets a double kill, holding the back of green boxes, and with only 1 left alive, Valen, who was able to get a beautiful beginning engagement of a double kill, not able to secure the final 2.
And shout out to Advice there, man. The man on Silver lurking in the boathouse. He goes down because he was setting up Huron Calaris so well. That wall on the balcony there from Anti was almost the end of that round for Serenity, right? If more players had been over there, they could have easily just rushed out through that wall. There's no way anybody on site would have been able to survive that. But such a good recon dart there from Advice, set up Huron for that kill. And he was able to easy clean that up, and then you just had to worry about ramps. What a good job there. And already Advice getting the opening pick too.
That's exactly what you want to see. The blinds are going down. I can't see a thing on the screen, but I can tell you the kill feed, and it's Heron all over the place. Kills into revives, the bringer of life and death, able to secure things out, getting that spike down in the process. It's looking like a Serenity round once again. That's very serendipitous of them. Once again, we have the Sova and Omen. Last one's alive, completely spread apart. The Sova going in for potentially an upper engagement from above, but no, Heron, the demon herself from the hell, emerging into heaven, not able to find that Sova just yet. Mundo being as cheeky as possible, taking out Showtime once again, but so many different angles being held throughout. It's only the Sova left trying to make something happen, but instead he opts to save, holding on to his weapons, holding on to his KD, and of course, holding on to his eco as well. Playing the important game, maybe able to find an exit frag as well, but no, not even that. The dragons burn him alive as he falls. It's going to be another round in a row going to the pockets of Serenity. And so far, it's seeming like these aggressive rushes onto the site are where it's at.
And it almost feels like a compositional difference here between dGen, Flow State, and Serenity, right? Because Serenity, what's there to stop them from rushing onto a site? Like maybe a hot hands, right, from Anti, maybe some trap wires, right, from Complex. But beyond that, you can rush out, you know, flash out, run out. It really, there's nothing to stop you from just being as aggressive as you feel like. And already we see that taking place in this round. I believe it's just an eco for the defense this time around. Not a bad start.
I mean, in a position like this, you have to eco, but again, Blind City going on throughout. Showtime does take down Complex, but the attackers once more seemingly having a little bit of a harder time taking over the site. Anti does find a triple kill with the Sheriff. Not something you see every day, but it's going to be the defenders having the man advantage. No, not so much anymore. Advice finds Ooh, Spike goes down, and the retake game is in effect once again. We've only seen one retake work successfully for DJ Flow State so far, but again, these aggressive pushes onto the site, regardless if it's an eco or not that they face up against, are just so working out well for Serenity's side.
And again, there's just not much to stop this, right? So you really have to go for the retakes if you're dGen Flow State right now. But at the same time, the post-plant positionings right now for Serenity are very good. And they're able to hold on to a lot of their utility, despite the fact that they use some of it getting onto site, because they get these picks on site almost every time they go forward, right? So they don't have to worry about 5 players. They only have to worry about 3 or 4 at most, right? So it's not too much of an issue right now for Serenity. They got an op and everything. Easy is going to poke a little bit too far forward. Valen on this Reyna has kind of been the one saving grace thus far for dGen, yeah.
That's right. A lot of the rounds we are seeing Valen getting these opening kills or sometimes even multi-kills for their team, but not able to really play off of it either by themselves or the rest of the team are not able to really do anything about it. But we are seeing a little bit of a struggle right here. Serenity, again, down 1 player, not really able to aggress forwards. It's going to give the ample time for the defenders to kind of corral themselves towards B site. But of course, as I say that, eating my words, Heron and Showtime each get a kill, and that is going to be putting them in the advance again. The sniper, though, Ooh, able to find one as well. It's going to be the plant on A once more. And keep in mind, they are swapping between different bomb sites, and neither one has DJ Flow State been able to really retaliate against. The smokes are going through, Scourge pushing through, however, finding 1, finding 2, without any trouble at all. Another round going to the way of Serenity. That is exactly what you want to see. It's a 6-1 right now, and with a 5-round differential, this is looking pretty much like the rest of the rounds we have casted here tonight, Paul.
Yep, it's starting to look like another blowout, especially since you consider Ascent probably more defender-sided when we get to the highest level of play, right? So dGen Flow State, they're really just having a tough time against Serenity right now. The pace Serenity is setting is a blazing one, and despite the fact that Phoenix is on dGen Flow State's team, they look relatively unprepared. That's a good pick there onto Scourge. Scourge maybe getting a little bit aggressive, but the second they see 2 players on B, it means they know Serenity rather know that they have the advantage player-wise on A, so they just rush onto the site.
And you can already see them kind of realizing that this is the case. They're rotating around as soon as they can. Spike's already gone down, but we do see a very quick rotate coming out from dGen's side. But again, it's going to be a tough position to be in. Smoked out completely from Heaven, smoked out from A main as well. They do find the Omen resting in hell like the demon he is, but are they able to find it through the wall? Yes, they are. Valen through the floor, able to secure easy, but is that going to be enough? They do have the man advantage, but the Sova does find one, but gets immediately traded out. Mundo looking to see if he can get the defuse down. The grenades are in the way. Showstopper out. Is it going to be able to find the double? Diffuser in play, looking for the sound cue. It's going to miss both, in fact, and that's going to be Ooh, all taking down Showtime.
There's not enough time.
Around, but there's no time. No time, able to stall out as long as possible. We do apologize, the stream's a little choppy for us, so it's hard to see everything as it plays out at times, but able to stall out so well. That is going to be, well, another round going Serendipity. I really thought that was going to be their round.
Yeah, I do have to give credit to dGen Flow State. That was a much cleaner retake than the rest of them, right? They stick together, they go for trades, right? They actually manage to smoke off A main there, so they don't have to worry about the Raze playing. But the Raze just plays that so well with the utility. Grenade stalls the plant, and then Showstopper not immediately fired, but held on to because you know you can just play for time. Ooh is in such a rough spot here. Yeah, there's not much of a way you get out of that one.
Yeah, once again, a very bullish rush coming out from the ways of Serenity, and there's not really much that we are seeing dGen Flow State do to really bring it back. Complex realizes this is not a winning fight. Spike Plant goes down on B. He's just going to save what I believe he has a Phantom. And I mean, at that point, there's really not much you can do. You know, it's just the same thing almost every single round. Valen, like you mentioned before, Paul, was really the only saving grace that helps, you know, stall out these long pushes and engagements. But when they're taking down immediately in Marketplace, you can even see the blue X for where Valen was. There's really not much you can do for the defenders. The rotates aren't really going to do a whole lot. There's a manhunt going down. Paul, again, this has pretty much been the tempo of the entire game, and I don't see it changing.
And Complex is probably going to get hunted down here. Yeah, he gets flashed. This is going to be a little bit tricky for him. He's got to hit this headshot. Oh! Okay, but I mean, he trades there. It's not the worst case scenario. It doesn't really matter. I mean, there's plenty of money for Serenity. They're not going to be missing those 2 guns, whereas dGen Flow State are very much going to be missing that 1 gun Complex had. And, you know, I think it really comes down to this composition from dGen Flow State, right? There's 3 flashes, right? And flashes are nice when you're taking space, right? When you're looking for positioning, you're forcing people away from the angles they're holding. But unless you time them perfectly, it's hard to use a flash to stall a push, right? And you can. You can use a flash to stall a push, especially a Phoenix flash, right? You get that around a corner where you think 2 or 3 people are playing. They're not going anywhere because they know that they will lose that fight, right? But Anti is mostly just on catwalk, and Serenity, they're avoiding him entirely, right? So it's just the Reyna flashes, and Reyna flashes can be destroyed. So when there's 5 people pushing an angle, Reyna flashes are not the ideal way to stop a push.
Yeah, it's definitely an interesting composition that we're seeing the defenders go through. I'm not really sure as to why the Phoenix isn't on the front lines, but Ooh does take down easy as well. We are seeing members of Serenity going down 1 by 1. They're locked completely inside B main. There's not much in the headway that they can move. Shorty's in play, destroying the walls, destroying any sort of vision that they may have as well. 45 seconds left, and this is a different Serenity round, it seems, but they're still taking names. Ooh finds a 2nd kill onto Advice, and again, they are forced to go for the rotate. But of course, with all that time being stalled out, that may have been the plan. So we are seeing the huge rotate, and it's kind of a slow one at that for dGen's side. And with the Omen already on Heaven and Moon taking out Showtime, this is going to be a rough round for Serenity.
I mean, that's done. That's a round over. Thrifty taken. And that's what I was talking about with the flashes. That whole round happens because Ooh hits a beautiful flash, a beautiful paranoia through the entirety of B main. And then just with the shorty, Valen's able to put a stop to Scourge there. And yeah, the wall comes up, a res comes through, but it's still the 4v5 in that scenario. And once you give up control of B main to go over to A, dGen Flow State were able to pick up guns anyways, right? So even if they hadn't just gotten slaughtered on their take into A site, it still would have been rough for them to have actually held that. That's the kind of utility use to stop these aggressive pushes I need to see more often from dGen Flow State.
The issue is that we do see Serenity able to adapt around those plays pretty easily as well. We're not seeing Valen play Marketplace anymore because they were picked off almost immediately each time going forwards. Of course, as I say that, Valen does find Scourge, but is that going to be enough? Spike nowhere near B main. In fact, it's going to be geared towards A site where only the Phoenix is in play. But with that Sova there kind of baiting everybody out, it's just him inside B main. This might be able to bait out the rotates just a little bit more, but it seems like no, that won't be the case. dGen are not that silly. Showtime does find Ooh as well, and A site will be the choice for Serenity to get that spike plan down. Rotates, of course, are in play, but again, the favor of the man count is not in Serenity's favor up until Showtime, able to find another one onto Anti. But it doesn't end there. The walls are in play, and it's a bit of a stall out right now. So far, these have usually gone in Serenity's favor, but lately, these A pushes and the retakes are in dGen's favor. Heron, though, does get the double kill, and it's going to be down to the Sova, able to bridge himself between either the spike or 3 different bodies.
Yeah, he's just going to go save. He doesn't have nearly enough health. Anti, oh man, he needed to wait for his team. If he goes in with the rest of his team there, that round very well could have gone over to dGen Flow State. But the Phoenix, the Flasher, ends up leaving early. Mun's not even able to hit the op shot at the very end there, so it's a full wipe on guns once again. Luckily, there's enough money to where in this last round, dGen Flow State are still going to be able to buy, right? But that was a very winnable retake for them, considering they got both those picks over in B main, and now they're looking at best, a 9-3. If you left this 4-8, it wouldn't have been comfortable, but 4-8 is a place you can come back from, right? 9-3, much less so. It makes all the difference, those little bits of discipline to just go in with your team.
Yeah, absolutely. Just an absolute rough position to be in overall for dGen's side. They had a really strong beginning, but once they lost that first round, it just snowballed from there. They're able to retake A a little bit more effectively, but even then, Showtime with these opening picks and taking down Vela no less is going to be almost the final nail in the coffin already at the beginning of this round. I don't want to come off as too negative, however. It's still 4-4, and there's still plenty of time for both teams to work around with this. The rotate from both teams going to B side will give dGen a little bit more ample time to play around with the site and hold back the defenses, especially with Ooh still alive, able to maybe paranoid out again all of B main. We could see a reimagining of him able to slaughter Serenity again, but there we go, going in the side of dGen once more. Advice finds Ooh, but it's a back and forth. The 2v2 now, but no, that 2v2 won't last forever. Anti able to take down the revive as well as taking down the reviver. That's gonna be a 3-9 like you mentioned. And
you know what? I gave Anti some grief. Credit where credit is due. I think he played that round pretty well, right? He used the run it back over in Catwalk and nearly got punished for it, but Moon was there to cover him when Easy went up and tried to trade that pick. So that was the first pick that you really needed there, and it made Serenity kind of questioned themselves a little bit, right? When they lost that one up Catwalk, because they couldn't just run over to B quickly. And that gave enough time for the rotates to B to come out and actually hold that down. And then Anti playing from Catwalk gets, I believe, another pick. I think he actually got 3 or 4 of his 8 kills in that round right there. So good work from him there. Love to see that keep up. We swap over now. It's pistols out. 3-9. You still really need to win this if you're dGen Flow State right now.
Absolutely. You're going to have to pray to whatever you believe in that the other half can work out well for you. Scourge finding Complex and Moon claps back finding Scourge as well. It's going to be a very aggressive take on the A side. Again, the blinds go down, but the Omen skirts away immediately. Perfect timing there. But the doors close, and you better have to break it open unless you want to just fight through heaven. Showtime finds Moon through the smokes. It is just a battle of not being able to see anything, I guess. Valen does find Showtime, and it's just a back and forth. Still, the retake slowly not going into the favor of the attackers. And there we go. That's going to be Heron on their first round of the second half, able to bring it back. We did see the aggressive plays come out from dGen as well, but now we're definitely seeing why the very placed team of Dimmadome lost to Serendipity. They were just able to really play around with this aggression, and their retakes as well apparently doing quite well as well.
Yeah, Serenity, I gotta give credit to Showtime there. That early decision to go for the flank, right? The only reason that Showtime even gets to that position where he gets that pick is because the second Scourge goes down in A main, Showtime realizes, all right, it's an all waterfall out through A. So he goes around long way and ends up taking control of A main, right? Which is the hardest place to get control of when you are retaking on A. You can kind of get tree, you can come out through heaven, but getting control of A main is tricky. And he walks up just in time to wrestle that away from the attackers. Now Scourge is just having a heyday. I mean, it's anti-eco. Scourge mows him down with the Bulldog and finishes one off with a classic, but you know, anti-eco, that's all expected. The real question is now that it's going to be this gun round, what can dGen Flow State do to make up this 8-round deficit?
I mean, it's a tough position to be in. What can you really say, Paul, in this position? You could say, you know, they need to play for the retakes, but here's the thing, they have been, and it has not been working for them. They can play aggressive like they have been as well, get the spikes down, but again, it's been a rough position where they can't get the spikes down, but they just lose the retake game. But we are going into the next round, however, potentially coming close to the final round, only needing one more point on Serenity's side to get to the match point in the semifinals. We are seeing a very aggressive B main push coming out from that Sage. It's gonna be Heron going down, Complex baiting out the tripwires, and the second one to follow as well. Complex does find Advice. Moon, however, going to be following up as well, and right now it's not around for Serenity. Only 2 left alive, and B side being taken over once again. It was a much slower push, all things considered, but they were able to clear out anybody in the ways of B, and in fact they were able to bait out the aggressive push from the defensive side of B as well, and they played off of that so well. But of course,
Well,
it's not over. What's up?
Well, and I was gonna say it's not over yet. You're gonna go for this. Oh. Okay,
Oh.
well now it's over. I was gonna say Scourge and Easy. There's no way they save here, because it was bonus round for them, right? So now you get to buy guns anyways. You want to see if you can take guns from the attackers. But great timing there from Valen. Like we were saying earlier, really the saving grace of dGen Flow State right now, and this is the pivotal round, right? Both teams have guns. If you lost this as Serenity, you could still buy next round, I believe, for the most part, if I'm doing the quick math in my head right. But dGen Flow State rather. But dGen, you really want to take this, because if you can take this round,
Wow.
that means that you put the enemy team on an eco and you finally get some momentum. Scourge isn't letting it happen though.
Yo, Scourge just immediately threw out the knives and got a double kill onto A main. Fantastic work, and already that's gonna put dGen in a very, very bad position. It's gonna be that Omen and Cypher last alive again. It's a situation we've seen between Ooze and the Cypher as well. They've been in this really bad positioning before, even on the defensive side, but while they're able to keep their lives longer than most on their team, they're not able to really even things out. Now, they do have options. Oh, what's up?
Well, and the question here for these two is, do you want to save? Because
I would say no.
You're at a 7, it's 4-11 right now, right? You can't really go for the save, but going for the push also isn't a very good idea, right? They're going to walk up, unless they clear this corner with Sova, that's the round right there.
Now, there's not a lot of utility, all things considered, on B side right now. Sova doesn't have a lot in terms of stalling out this plant other than his bullets, but is he going to find them at Barbershop? It's going to be, ooh, that does find advice. The walls from Heron is a different story, however. Spike will be going down, but all three of them coming in like ninjas, finding their target. Scourge with the knives the whole round, able to find that third one. Now, they need 3 times as many rounds on DJ's side to at least even out that score counter with Serenity. This is potentially the final round with us casting here tonight, and this is potentially the final round as well for Serenity to make their way to the finals, casted by Sid Kitten and Tony Funks. But it's a tough position for dGen to be in right now, because they're playing these executes well, Paul, but they're not able to really go into these post plants.
And you need a hero play here. The way, based on what's available to dGen, you need Valen to get an opening pick, not get traded, and then convert that into the neural theft. Valen over an A main, he gets caught by the op. Oh, Empress into the grave there, into the void. The rest of his team's creeping up mid. This isn't bad positioning, but where are they gonna go from here?
They're able to find a rift right through the middle of the defenses of dGen's, of Serenity's side. Anti does find advice, good pick indeed, but what's going to happen next? They're able to find that rift, yes indeed, but there's going to be the Jet Scourge from the back, able to find these picks, but no! They do find one, but immediately refrag down. Moon finds Scourge. Heron, though, taking down Anti. It's going to be a 2v3 now. Things are getting very tense for the attackers. Again, Ooh, one of the last ones left alive, has his smokes. He's one of the most versatile people on his team with his utility, but he hasn't really been able to take advantage of it, but he finds Easy. Is it going to be enough? 2v2. Going on to A side now, Spike in hand. Only one on Heaven, and the slow rotate from Heron. Going to be a detrimental.
Winnable?
It's winnable. It is winnable. It's going to be detrimental for Serenity's side, having that slow rotate coming on down, but Heron's not too worried, it seems, taking a nice leisure stroll. Last two on dGen's side, waiting inside of tree, holding each other's backs for dear life. This could potentially be it. Paul, this is Michael Jackson's last tour, because this is it. It's a now or never moment for dGen's side. The Hunter's Fury going down, baiting them out, but not able to find any of them. Heron going for the aggressive plays, finding Mun! But can he find Ooze as well? He closes the door right in the Omen's face. Halfway through, so much more time now for Heron. Is it possible to bring this back? It's do or die for both teams. The defuse goes through, it's baited out, and Ooh, trying to find that final kill, not able to, and there's time left. The semifinal win goes to Serenity's side, and it's a surprisingly close final round, but the scoreline says a different story. Written in the blood of dGen Flow State, it's going to be Serenity who've made their way so far in the tournament, only now to face in the grand finals. Oh, wow, I think I need a breather after that one.
Yeah, oh, that's a heartbreaker for Mun and Ooh there. so close to making it happen, and I think if U had pushed out onto the site with the Hunter's Fury, there's a world where that round actually goes in their favor. It's still rough though, because it was a blind Hunter's Fury, pretty much, right? There wasn't like the bomb wasn't, or the spike wasn't tapped for it or anything. It was a Hail Mary kind of a thing, but you know, maybe the distraction could have been enough. You know, I can thread maybes all day, but what's definite here, Keg, is that Serenity are a pretty scary team. Their executes are strong. They got good use of utility and strong map presence, right? And when we're talking about community tournaments, that's what you want to see from these teams looking to make a name for themselves.